Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really cool breakthrough that could give AI something it's always been missing, a sense of touch to go along with its sight. It's a new model called Concerto, and it's teaching machines to understand our world not just by seeing it, but by truly feeling it too.
Okay, so to get our heads around this, let's start with a really simple question. Think about an apple. How do you really know what an apple is? I mean, it's not just about what it looks like, right? Exactly. Our brain is amazing at blending senses. You see that shiny red skin, maybe a few little spots, but at the same time, you can imagine its roundness, how smooth it is, and the satisfying heft of it in your hand. It's this blend of senses that gives us this super rich, complete idea of apple in our minds.
And here's the wild part. After you've learned that, just seeing a picture of an apple is enough to make you remember that feeling. Its weight, its texture, it's like one sense triggers a memory in another. This little magic trick is called multisensory synergy, and it's a huge part of what makes our brains so powerful. So what about AI? Well, this is where AI has been kind of stuck. For a long time, AI models have had this one-track mind. They could typically only learn from one sense or one type of data at a time. So you end up with this big divide. On one side, you have 2D models like Dino V2. They're amazing at understanding color and texture from photos. They're like a painter who can't sculpt. They get the surface, but have no real sense of the shape. On the other side, you have 3D models like SOTA. They learn from these 3D scans called point clouds. They understand geometry perfectly, but they're like a sculptor who's colorblind. They miss all the fine visual details. So some researchers tried a pretty straightforward experiment. What if we just mix the data from both? And what they found was super interesting. Just by layering the information from a top 2D and a top 3D model, they got a much better score on a 3D perception test. This was a huge clue. It meant the two senses weren't just seeing the same thing, they were bringing different, complementary pieces of the puzzle to the table.
And that initial success led to a way bigger question. Okay, just mixing the final results works pretty well. But what if we could go deeper? What if we could build one AI model that learns from both sight and touch, from 2D images and 3D shapes at the exact same time, right from the get-go, just like we do?
And that brings us to the star of the show, Concerto. It's a new model that's designed to do just that, to orchestrate 2D and 3D data together and create a single, harmonious, and unified understanding of the world.
Okay, so take a look at this. This is how a 2D-only model sees a scene. It totally nails the visual details. I mean, look at the rich pattern on that chair. But if you look closer at the actual shapes, the underlying structure, it's a total mess. There's no real understanding of the geometry at all.
Now, let's flip it. Here's what the 3D model sees. The shapes are perfect, the bed is clearly a bed, the chair has a solid form, but where did all the detail go? It's like it's completely blind to all those rich visual textures.
And now, check this out. This is Concerto. It's kind of perfect. You get the crisp, clean, geometric structure of the room, and you get all the beautiful, rich textures on every single object, all working together seamlessly. It really is the best of both worlds.
So what's the secret sauce here? How does it actually do this? Well, the strategy is surprisingly elegant, and it's actually inspired by the way that we humans learn about the world around us. It's a two-step dance. First, it gets really good at just one thing, understanding 3D shapes on their own. You can think of it like it's practicing sculpture, just getting a feel for the form. But, and this is the key part, at the exact same time, it's also trying to guess what a 2D picture of that sculpture would look like. This forces it to build a bridge, a powerful connection between seeing and feeling.
All right, so that's the theory. But does this fancy two-part strategy actually work in practice? Oh yeah, the proof is in the numbers and they are pretty stunning.
Get this, when you put it to the test on understanding 3D scenes, Concerto didn't just win, it absolutely crushed the best 2D-only models by over 14%. I mean, that's not just an improvement, that's a giant leap forward in this field. And it wasn't a one-trick pony either. It also beat the best 3D-only models by almost 5%. So it's a clear winner, no matter how you slice it. But this next part is the real kicker, and it's summed up perfectly in this quote from the researchers. Concerto didn't just beat the individual models, it even beat that simple mashup we talked about earlier. And that proves something absolutely crucial. Learning together is way more powerful than just adding the results up at the end.
And you can see that so clearly right here on this chart. Here's your 2D model, here's the 3D model, and then boom, look at Concerto. It's just in a different league. It's such a powerful visual of how big a deal this really is for understanding a complex scene. And for the final test, they fine-tuned it for one specific, really tough job, identifying every object in these complex 3D scans. And it set a brand new state-of-the-art record. On this incredibly difficult benchmark called ScanNet, it hit an amazing 80.7% accuracy. Just wow. So, okay, the scores are impressive. But, this is about way more than just numbers on a chart. What this really does is unlock a whole new way for machines to perceive the world. And the possibilities, they're huge. We're talking about self-driving cars that don't just see a person, but intuitively understand their physical presence and volume. Or robots that can pick up and handle any object with real dexterity because they understand its shape and texture. Or even think about mixed reality. You could have virtual objects that interact with the real world perfectly because the AI finally understands the geometry of the room you're in. You see, Concerto isn't just a new piece of code. It's a whole new approach. It's about teaching AI to experience the world more like we do, through a symphony of senses. And that's a massive step towards machines that can truly understand and interact with our messy, beautiful, three-dimensional world. Which really just leaves us with one big question to think about. What becomes possible when machines can finally see and feel the world as richly as we do?